Welcome to our podcast, Below the Belt. Welcome, guys, wherever you're joining us from around the world. Who vex lose? Welcome to our international podcast, Below the Belt. We are talking today about crime, COVID, and plantain economics. Guys, we're going to get our discussion underway shortly, but I'm privileged to have with me the Honorable Director of Finance, MP, the one and only. And then we have the other one and only, our brother from a different mother, counselor, host of the popular The Rush program, also on our streams. And he's a counselor himself at the RDC Region 4. He's a popular guy about the tongue, the one and only Randolph Critchlow, folks. You can live this life and meet a lot of people, and it don't matter. But if you live this life and you meet Randolph and people like Jarita, you're in there no way. We are privileged to have them on with us today, as we are equally privileged to have you guys with us as well. Wherever you guys are tuning in from around the world, it is our privilege to have each and every one of you with us. Donald David, we see you out there. Some people don't take left, Since the cup knocked the left. Karen Black, Marsha Glasgow, George Annan, Mbali Clark, watching from Brooklyn, New York. Annan says, Romy Leander, good afternoon to all of you beautiful, fantastic peoples. Andrew Cuthbert. I always have to pronounce this one differently because it's not Cuthbert. It's Cuthbert. Cosbrt. Maud Oliver. We see you out here, Maud. Coretta Fraser Kingston. Debout. To Enid Greenwich. Good to see you, Enid. Charlene Deuce et Tendry. Some fancy name people. You got fancy name, you gotta get real money in the bank, Deuce et Tendry. Charlene. Marsha Glasgow. Alison Fraser. Guys, how things there? We all there. We tell you all it's pace and power in 2022. We got a whole of focus, people. We got a whole of focus. A lot of things go on distract me in 2022, A lot of things. But folks, we got a whole of focus on who the real enemy is and who the real jacobats be. Whole of focus. Annette Nichols. Happy Saturday to each and every one of you. Anne-Marie Selby. We see you as well. Guys, we're so privileged to have our guests with us. They are busy people. I'm certain Randy was either busy in something in his professional career, or he was busy cooking up something also in his professional career. Randy, I can ask Randy what they were cooking up on this Saturday, what they hope to have for lunch and that kind of stuff. What's bubbling? When the pot bubbling? Who knows? We might pass by and take a taste. Marsha Glasgow, depending on what they're cooking, though. Depending on what they're cooking. So we can get in the business just. Hold on. Andrea King, Shamar Williams, Lorraine Garnett. We hope you guys are having a fantastic, restful Saturday. Or we hope you guys intend to have it as a fantastic, restful Saturday. Restful Saturday, folks. Wherever you guys are joining us from, it is our real privilege to have each and every one of you. Real privilege. You understand me? Real privilege to have you all with us. Wherever you guys are joining from, the multitude of you, Penelope Hudson, Marcia Aaron, Andrea King, Yvonne Kingston, Meryl Seaford. Good to have all of you beautiful folks with us, guys. Crime, COVID, and plantain economics. Where we going in Guyana? That's our team for today. Where we going in this country, people? Where we going? Forward or backward? That's what you want to know. Forward or backward? We have a theme during the campaign. And Rich and Randy know this very, very keenly. It is forward ever, backward never. Forward ever, backward never. Folks, the weather in the national capital city of Georgetown, where we host our international podcast from, it's 27 degrees outside. According to weather.com, we give up on them people by the meteorological offers. No disrespect, but we find they do a little thing with the weather. So we rely on weather.com, which seems to be a little more accurate. It's 27 degrees outside. That's what they're telling us. 27 degrees outside. But let's hold for this part. They're telling us there's a 7 to 1% chance of rain. Let's see how they work out. Because I came into the studios and they had nice weather outside. But they're telling us it's 7 to 1 degrees outside. 7 to 1. degrees on the outside, and I hope Jarita and Randy soaking up soaking up this kind of weather. Really, really hope both Jarita and Randy, they are soaking up this kind of weather, and we're gonna have them with us shortly, guys. Shortly, we are we are going to have them with us very, very shortly. That being said, I want you to know that it's going to be a great day, and I hope you go ahead and make it a fantastic day wherever you guys are. You know, you don't wait for nobody to come make your day great. You got to make your day great yourself, right? Don't wait for nobody to make you day a great day. You got to make your day a great day yourself. Y'all understand? You got to make it a great day yourself. So, wherever you guys are joining us from, we hope that you guys are having a fantastic time. Margaret Nelson, we see you. Margaret says it's 43 degrees where she is in the US of a 43 degrees. And we know as you go further north, it's cold, people, unless you're in places like Florida and say it's cold. Folks, you know, we understand. The good book said the Lord fixed the bungs of your habitation. Some of y'all didn't listen, and y'all gone with that cold. Now y'all living like Eskimos. We mind. Somebody can take one for the team. We like the remittances. That being said, folks, crime, COVID, and planting economics, that's our discussion today. Where we going in this country, folks? Where we going in this country? Again, I'm privileged to have with us the Member of Parliament to Finance, and she is the Shadow Minister for Finance, believe it or not. And then we have Randolph Critchlow. This is a man who knows a little bit about everything. He's a counselor, and he is the host of the very popular The Rush. And it is back looking better than ever. Randolph Critchlow. He's a counselor Region 4. Fantastic fellow. My guests, welcome. How are you guys doing? Saturday, the 8th day of January 2022. Pace and power. How are you guys doing?
Thank you very much, Sheridan. Happy New Year.
Randy,
you and your viewers.
Randy, in 2021, I was Sherrod. In 2022, I'm Sherrod.
All right.
Sherrod. Randy, welcome, my brother. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing some cook up right now, trying to bubble a pot.
I was about to ask you about that because I know another part of your professional life is a cookies. There's a cookies. How is that coming?
A try thing. A try thing. But Sharon, I wanted to do some ripe planting with the cook up, but the planting prices.
Well, I was about to ask you. Let us invite you into the conversation, and we can talk about it. And we can talk about the cook up too, because I'm certain, as a mother and so on, she'd want to make some interventions. Because I was about to ask, in this cook up, because the way prices go, it might be just water you're bubbling. MP Finance, welcome to the discussion. Welcome to Below the Belt.
Good. This Randy. It's I think Randy and I have a competition going on right now because I'm in the process of making cocoa myself. So
Y'all are comparing notes. Folks, let us know how you're receiving the audio where you are. We want the audio just to be perfect for you guys. So let us know how you're receiving that.
audio. I think it's clear.
Randy, wasn't this cook up at your end? When this cook up? Let's start there as we get into the discussion. When this cook up today? May just be water boiling.
By
Things tight.
I feel as if I'm in an exclusive class right now, upper middle class. I am having red peas cooked up with beef, And some people tell me that is the most expensive peas.
Wow, red peas cook up. Randy, who you sleeping with in this government? you get up with the class cook up. Who you sleeping with in this government, Randy? Like, take one for the team. Who you sleeping with, Randy? Come on, name names, Randy. Name names.
Not at all, but
You ain't talking about your business. All right, my brother. I hear you. Trinity, what is your cook up? Where you go? Where you lashing today?
I'm a majority of the type cook up. We starting a bracket with Randy and Sheriff. We're just doing a big kind of cook up, but don't worry, we managed to add in the fried fish. So we're
You
not
were
too
able
bad
to
off.
procure fish.
That's what I'm telling you. I mean, I
I'm
don't
gonna
know
ask you
how.
the same question I asked Randy with all due respect.
No,
You were able
not
to procure
so.
fish. People are telling us they've been down to the wharf there at what do you call that area there? Where they sell the fish, Randy and so.
No, you see, I'm lucky, Sharon. I'm from Region 7. You see, we procure the fish ourselves
Oh,
from
I
from
see,
the
I
inception.
see, I see. People say they've
Yes.
been going to this wharf down by Banks DIH there at the back that side, and they said they are missing lots of the fish vendors because, like, since the catfish administration come away, this catfish ban is chasing away all the other fishes, and so they're not seeing a lot of the vendors there. And if there are vendors, the prices tight, things tight.
Uh,
So the fact that you were able to procure fish,
but we do it. We do full in Region 7.
oh, yeah.
We can get the fish and rather than go and procure the fish ourselves. So,
Well, I know, I know you're different. You're a little different in Region 7. But, Randy brought up an interesting issue there. Randy says that the fried plantain aspect of the cook up, a little thing with a part because
we can't, Sarah, we can't afford that part.
plantain now is
That's the
Mr. Plantain. You see people wearing plantain like gold jewelry now. I was
I think
watching
it's
something on. I was
a
watching
bunch of
something
plants.
early on TikTok where the police stop a man and the man said he wants one of the green boys. The man took out a five
You
thousand
want the
dollars and
green?
handed it to him. The man said, "No, no, no, the other green, the other green." The man reached over and get a bunch of plantain and the policeman. The policeman was ecstatic. What happened in this country of ours? What happening? What
But
happening?
on persons on TikTok asking home with a bunch of planting right now. I mean, that is how planting has gone.
That's
Has
the
gone.
that's the dowry. A bunch of plantain, and you can fetch away anybody now. That's the dowry.
Yeah. But on a serious note, sir, it's one thing to the next. You'll be going down the list of items. You would remember that when before what had skyrocketed
Oh yes.
also, and so many things. Celery was one. Shallot actually was one that was right on that same spectrum that we're planting on right now. And again, we're going wrong. Prices on the increase, persons are suffering, but these are basic food items, kind like items such as plantains and their daily meal is something that everybody have in their house, and now your persons not able to afford it. That's the fact of the matter, and yet the government is running around, speaking about all this grand development that they but with nobody else can, and there's absolutely no policy mechanism that has been put to cool the effect of these astronomical price increases in the price of basic food item things that are being produced right here in Guyana. Right up the river, right at
Which is a
somebody
which is a
farm.
point I
How
want to make because if you read the Chronicle, the state newspapers, the Chronicle, you would see, I think across the front page this morning, they say that world food prices have gone up by 28%. Well, that is an allegation. 28%. But you make the point, MP Finance and Randolph Cook-Up will miss plantain because of this. Plantain is being produced right here. We're importing green plantain. I hope not. So what is the argument then? Right up the river, as you said.
Yeah, because the fact is that the government has they have embarked on a pathway that they're not looking at the small scale farmers, and so and even medium scale farmers that are producing. They haven't been doing anything to actually boost in their production, and to cushion the effects of their production cost also being increased. We noted several times on your program that they took money, saying $10 billion to be exact, saying that they want to give out grant. And I want to touch on this a little bit indeed. They took $10 billion, said it was for flood relief to farmers. I would remember specifically you were an MP of Parliament also. And you would remember that the Prime Minister did not have a single answer as to how the money was distributed. But I can say, Cheryl, how the money was distributed because I have very credible information. The persons who never planted a blade of grass will
Mhm.
end up to collect. those persons who never plan to blade the grass actually called by PPP representatives to go and collect money that was a part of that $10 billion. So that's why we're here right about not talking about the price of plantain being on the increase, because persons that are actual farmers did not get that cushioning as they would have needed in these difficult times. And that is most ridiculous for the government controlled newspaper to bring to try to save their face. They're trying to save face, as we would say in Guyana, by putting that on the front page of the newspaper. It's unacceptable. We do not accept it when we have the government also, at the same time, not only have they already spent billions of dollars that they said was going to be directed towards the farmers so that they can cushion the effect that all that they had suffered from 2020 to now during the pandemic season and all of that. And now we still see these astronomical increases. Nobody's coming to say anything about how they're going to, what method, what mechanism, policy, what tools, fiscal tools, and so forth that they'll be using to actually deal with a lot of this. But what we are hearing is, oh well, so everybody's suffering, so you have to suffer too. That's basically what they're saying by printing headlines like that, and it's unacceptable. We do not accept it. We see it as very cheap, disrespectful politics coming through those headlines. And I wouldn't expect any better coming out from the Chronicle right now, given the current leadership over here, if I dare say.
I could see the PR they could put on that, in as part of a campaign. Vote for us. Let's suffer together.
Well, that's basically what they, if other countries suffer, we gotta suffer too. But don't dare tell us that. But when it comes to comparison with other countries, this is among the fastest growing economies in the world. That's where we're listed. So speak to us about that. Don't just come to tell us, well, we got price increase all over. Yeah, we are among the fastest growing economies in the world. Don't speak to us on a general basis. Narrow it down like that, bro, because that would be a rational comparison for us to make when we're talking about Guyana comparison to any other country.
Yep. Randy, you want to jump in there? Folks, this is it. We were watching across
Yeah.
social media. Go ahead, Randy.
No, I wanted to say that Jarita makes a very interesting connection between the corruption that we saw during the distribution of those grants for those farmers who were affected and the skyrocketing prices now. I mean, many persons may not have noticed this and realized it, but if you don't help the farmers in their time of need, then it will reflect on the market prices of the stuff that they're producing. I think it's a very interesting connection to make there. And the other thing I wanted to point to was this idea of suffering together. Sharon, I make it a point to associate myself with people who are smarter than I am. And so
I'm happy you're here, sir. We're happy you're here. Very happy. Proceed.
So I was having conversations with some young economists and some smart young people who were very optimistic in the beginning about our prospects in terms of oil. And they said to me, well, Randy, rising tide lifts all boats. And this was the optimism and the enthusiasm that they had about everybody coming up together. And the idea up together, that is what we're doing. Coming up together. It speaks to the regime that is in there and the policies and the programs that they're putting in place. If it one set of people, because I'm telling you that the majority of people listening to this podcast now and point to nothing significant in their lives that would have improved over the last year. Not one thing. And I challenge anybody on this who's listening right now to this podcast to type one significant improvement in your life since the PPP went in power. Put it in the comment section.
And I want folks to hear
Yes.
that clearly. If the PPP has improved your life in some way of the last year, the last 20 months, put it in the comment section. You're a jackabat, you're listening there. You're a trenchy. Put it in the comments if they did anything positive. Your life has improved since they come
And you
on.
know what
Tell us.
you know what you will get, Sharon? You know what you will get? Cash grant. 90,000, 50,000, 50,000. That's what they get. Cash grant. Right. Jagabat on the line. Cash grant. That's all the time. Nothing significant.
Very much so. And my mind goes back, folks, viewers around the world. We hope you take the opportunity to share the live stream, and we want to see those emojis as well, folks. For those of you who are now joining us, welcome to our podcast, Below the Belt, who vex lose. Yours truly, Sherry Dunkel. I'm joined today by Director of Finance, the Shadow Minister for Finance, Member of Parliament, and the Honorable Randolph Critchlow as well, host of the afternoon program, The Rush, and also a fantastic counselor coming to us out of Region 4. The installed Finance Minister, Ashley Singh. Shorty balls. Ashley said in the last budget, the theme of the last budget, and we talk about it ever so often here, I almost know it by rote, pathways to recovery, economic dynamism, and resilience. We're still waiting. How it going? Plantain is almost 400 a pound, You understand? Just so we got to pay for plantain in installments. Mm? You got to pay for installments. Courts can move out all the furniture. And it's plantains they're selling there. You got to pay for installments. That's where we are, folks. We're kind of going under these people. Just when you think things can't get bad. Last week, we were talking about the rising price for bread. You understand me? Now you got to give a plantain to because we support bread and we family. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. We can't. Last night, I passed wrong by a particular baker shop. I won't call names, least people feel offended. And they usually have a lot of people out there. As a matter of fact, they used to operate 24 hours. But I understand with COVID and so on. But 9 o'clock is not curfew. When I passed, please don't shut up. We were going home. And I want to know if that is an indication that people just can't afford bread now. And so it makes no sense opening late because business done trickling in during the course of the day. You can pay staff overtime at that hour and all of that. Might as well be shut shop till tomorrow. We're in a bad way, as the Trinidadians say. We said we're in a bad state, we're in a bad place. They say we're in a bad way. We're in a bad way, people. And you know what? Even some of their own people, oh boy, they don't want to talk about it, the shame's a tale, as we say. But they're hungry because they ain't got them planting money now. We used to buy 2 and 3 and 4 pounds. You got to go with half pound now. Where we going, Randy? It's not just planting, It's you're making the planting economics replicate itself with so many other items. So many other items. And the kind of confusion powder we're seeing there with these rising prices, it's almost in every sector. These people can't even run a little bottom shop. They want to run the whole economy. Where are we going as a country? With all this oil. I heard people make the statement, don't tell me no more about oil discovery. It seems the more oil we pump in, the more we pump in, is the more prices going up. Where are we going? Yeah, makes sense for the Guyanese people. Oh. Treaty Randy.
Sure.
You touched a very important part when you were saying that it's not just the planting because it's actually that's just a micro example of what is happening at a macro level. I forgive the economical terminology because basically that's just one simple item that we're looking at. We've isolated it. We look at planting because it's out there and of course they're speaking about it. But the constant increase in the prices of food items and basic household items is widespread. It's not just something that's happening in Georgetown. It's happening throughout the country and it's happening with all food items. It was persons are looking at it and people are trying to cut back on what they usually purchase to be in their food, their regular food basket, bread basket for the month, as you would say in economics. And a lot of and persons are now forced, public servants, persons that are earning on minimum wage, they're suffering tremendously. Persons are not able to feed their family a very nutritious meal. These are the facts that are before us. So as we're looking at it, I can tell you who's not being bothered are the persons on the higher income bracket, and I would say the persons that we just formulate policy to suit, they're not being bothered by, oh, planting is $300, I'll give them 5 pounds because they can afford it. But the ordinary Guyanese is what is suffering, and the policies that they continue to put in place, Ashley Singh and team, are policies that will not remedy these situations because it doesn't bother their friends and family. They don't care. And I can go as far as saying that they know full well that the poorer persons that support their party are going to be suffering because of these exorbitant increase in prices, but they don't care. And I don't know when these people are going to wake up and realize they don't care if these things bother them. They believe that if some of their supporters have to drink bare water and call it a day, they're going to still go and vote for them. That's why they continue to do what they've been doing. And unless persons wake up and realize and say to themselves, we deserve better, they are going to continue to operate in the manner in which they're operating. You cannot continue, and I'm speaking specifically to the person that support the PvP blindly. You can't continue to just go put your ex next to a cup just because, oh, your grandfather did it and his father before and his father before. No, that's not acceptable. You Everyone deserves a better life, and there no policy that the PvP has put in place to this point in time that is going to benefit those supporters that they have, that bracket of poor people that they have voting for them. And those people need to wake up and see that for what it really is. This increase in the price of plantain is just one out of the hundreds of other things, that prices that are going up, and things are going to continue to go in that direction because they're not doing anything to stop it from going in that direction. And I can say that, and we're going to come back to this program, Sharon. You're going to have another day, and we're going to be talking about another food item, another basic food item that is out of control. And we're going to have several of those programs coming up because they're not doing anything to stop it from happening.
Precisely.
Sharon,
Jump in, Randy.
sir. Yeah. Let me back on some of the things that Jarita brought up there. I want to talk specifically on two issues because she said that persons will continue to blindly support the PPP, and it is a problem in our politics that I spoke of last night in my program, where Guyanese are not participatory, so to speak, in their politics. They're more subject than participatory. So we have a population that is unwilling to go and do any research, unwilling to listen to seek out the facts. And let's just take, for example, Sherrod, the Natural Resource Fund bill that was passed. Just as a simple view, the comments of some of the PDP supporters online, the opposition MPs are fighting to secure their money. They're of course not listening to what the arguments are and what the opposition, because your opposition, obviously you ain't saying anything good. So we're never listening to you. Let the people pass the bill. Well, but let the people do the thing. No sort of investigation, no sort of thought. It is just this blind participatory nature that we have in our politics. I mean, the solution, of course, is to engage with our community folks, is to engage with our people on the streets, engage with them in the buses, in the taxis, and let people know that you have to be a part of your politics. You have to be involved, you have to be in the know, and don't just let politicians push things down your throats, because that is what is happening right now. And people are blindly going and supporting an administration that does not have their interests at heart. And that is this reality of it. But we have a role to play as leaders, as persons who disseminate information to ensure that people understand their role in this. They need to understand their role. That's the only way we can change it. Right? I want to also broach another issue that has to do with, and Jurita would be able to speak to this in more detail. As she mentioned, she said the policies of the PPP, leave much to be desired in terms of economic development, not only economic development, but human and social development. And I want the people to understand, as we're talking about solutions, as we're talking about the way forward, as we can highlight the ills of the PPP all day. But we need to present, for me, we need to present an alternative argument. So what I believe the PPP is doing, and Jurita is the economist here, but as I said, I associate myself with people who are smarter than I am, and I've given this much thought, that
talk to us.
They are focused on infrastructure development, which is not a bad thing. But the economist will tell you that infrastructure development does not necessarily translate into the development and the moving of people out of their state where they are in terms of the quality of life. Right? Mm-hmm. That is not the best indicator as to how well people are living.
Precisely.
Because the PPP had a saying, they used to try and devalue APNU's contribution in terms of infrastructure development by saying, oh, you can't eat road. Right?
we can't eat plantain now either. So I know it's where we there. We can't eat plantain now either.
Right. But indeed. But I want to say this is that we have seen a move by this administration to do two things. One, to try and implement this idea of top-down economics, trickle-down economics, which has proven to be a failure worldwide. Secondly, they are less focused, and the work that they are doing on this in this sector, less focused on human and social development, investing in social services, healthcare, education, those things that were the pillars of the AP and ULC's administration. They have said, listen, that will go on the back border, and we will build hotels and bridges and roads. And the problem that you have with that, and we of course will ensure that the big businesses are cushioned. We cushion big business and hope that will save the economy. The problem you have with that is that it is encapsulated in something that I always say, that people matter.
Yep.
Your people matter, and if you need to divert your resources and your time and energy as well, ensuring that your people are moved. How do we move the masses from the state where they are and push them up the economic ladder? And that is where the feeling of the PPP is. And I believe that these are the things that people want to hear. These are the solutions that people want to hear. How will the AP and UAFC, when we get back in power very soon, make the lives of those people better?
Yep.
What policies do we have to put in place?
That is the crux of the matter. There. Randy, I want to dial back and Jurita to something Randy said just a couple of seconds ago about what transpired in the National Assembly and this biased speaker that we have. And I think the leader of the PNCR, Mr. Aubrey Norton, characterized it so wonderfully yesterday in a press statement. I want to see if I get in some of the audio from Mr. Norton himself to hear how he characterized what transpired in National Assembly and who really is responsible. I'll just try to give you guys a little bit of it. Tell me if you can hear the audio at your end. Just want to make sure that we're sending it through correctly. And we'll see if we can take some of
it. It is the PPPC's arrogance, disrespect, and contempt for our people, including civil society, and the bias, unprofessional and unparliamentary behavior of the Speaker of the National Assembly that are responsible for the protests that occurred in the National Assembly on 29 August 2021. The Speaker of the National Assembly has no moral authority to lecture anyone on propriety. He has been and continues to be complicit in making the National Assembly a tool of oppression. He has demonstrated from the inception of the life of the 12th Parliament that he is biased and incapable of managing the affairs of the National Assembly in a fair and transparent manner. He has undoubtedly taken the Assembly to the nadir of its existence and shed it of even the appearance of a democratic institution. From the time of the convening of Parliament, the Speaker has unashamedly sought to muzzle the parliamentary opposition and shelter the corrupt and incompetent PPPC regime from being accountable to the people of Guyana. He has without cause denied the opposition motions on definite matters of urgent public importance, such as COVID-19 pandemic, the worst flood in the history of Guyana, and the destruction of the natural environment, to curtailing the scrutiny of the national budget. The Speaker has clearly demonstrated that he is partisan. He is not only partisan, he is complicit with PPPC.
Yep. We're going to take just that bit. Complicit with the PPPCs. I wanted to stick that in, Randy, to complement the point that you were making. A very, very strong and firm hand by Mr. Norton on this nonsense that Monsieur Nadir is trying to perpetuate in the National Assembly and calling people hooligans. Mansour being taken from anybody that's not from Mansour. His job there is to muzzle the opposition, but being taken it pace and power in 2022. Jurita, Randy.
Sherrod, it has we had a lot of examples. Well, we have a lot of examples that we can actually point to. So basically support with what Mr. Norton is saying. What I can tell you is that on the day, for example, the last day that we were in Parliament, when the PPP brought the Natural Resources Bill to be debated, one of the first things that had to be looked at is its petition. And you would remember, if persons were paying attention, they would remember that a petition was presented to the Parliament, and the reason why the petition was not looked at is because the Speaker said that, oh, he received it like half an hour like 9:30, and the House is to meet at 10 o'clock, so he didn't have time to review it. This is not just a piece of a letter coming to the Speaker. This is a petition signed by hundreds of persons. A petition is before you. The people of this country signed the petition asking for that bill to be held back, to be delayed, basically for wider consultation to be had with the Guyanese people, and that was not given the time of day to even be looked at, because the Speaker said he received it the morning. What I can also point to the fact that we have had endless cases in which we were at the National Assembly for Parliament at 10 a.m. and we didn't start until minutes to 11 or 11 as much, because matters had to be dealt with. So when those things happen, it gives a clear indication of what is important and what isn't. On the day that the opposition parliamentarians actually decided that enough is enough, and action was taken to protest in the National Assembly, the chief whip from the opposition stood up and he simply asked that this bill be pulled back and given more time for consultation. He noted the petition that was there. He noted the fact that civil society and organizations throughout this country is asking for it to be pulled back, and he wasn't given the time of day. So Mr. Norton could base his argument on so many areas of facts, so many examples he has. So when it comes to the manner in which the parliament is being conducted, and you would know that we sit in the National Assembly, and I think when I sit there, I tell my family that I think it's better for me to go to the strip club or so because the level of vulgarity that comes from the members of the government and the speaker seems to have no will or ability to shut that down at the level of parliament. So we have so many things that we can look at that is going to be in error of how the speaker actually conducts business in the house. But we know that the bill that was passed, a lot of people say, oh, well, I saw them make a lot of statements comment that, oh, well, the bill is signed into law right now and they're trying to make it as this is way it is. The AP and UAF the Act of 2019, rather. That's what it was. It was signed into law. It was an act. And the same way in which people came to the National Assembly and they said, give all manner of flimsy excuses why they can't respect it and so on and so forth. The AP and UAFC will not be respected. The act that they have right now simply because it goes against the will of the Guyanese people. And as parliamentarians, as political representatives of the people, it is our duty to respect the will of the people, and the will of the people says that they are not accepting that current act as is. So I think that's one of the first things that will be changed when we go back into office.
Fantastic point. Fantastic, fantastic point. Folks, thus far we've been talking a lot of economics, the way plantain price, plantain economics, plantain gone up high, 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 closely followed by bread and other commodities in the marketplace. But I want to turn our attention, those of you who are joining us, our discussion today is crime, COVID, and plantain economics. Where Guyana going? That's the question we're asking. Thanks for joining Below the Belt, wherever you guys are joining us from. I'm your host, Sherry Duncan, and I have with me the Honorable Chiwetel Finance Member of Parliament, the Honorable Randolph Quitchelo, fantastic counselor out of Region 4, Regional Democratic Council, and the host of the very popular afternoon show, The Rush. Happy to have both of them with me. Just over this weekend here, yesterday, as a matter of fact, we saw splashed across social media a pensioner was almost robbed. You can imagine. You go to do your little morning routine. You try to buy 4 pound of plantain. You end up buying half pound in the market. You're coming home, and then boys coming for rob you. You're planting. The man had to have been very sensible. See them guys passing by, circling like vultures, pull back in the car, and put down the safety. And them boys
Yeah.
advancing to him. And now this is a scene. This is an experience that is replicated time and time again throughout our country. As a matter of fact, Catfish come out the other day and he says Saturday. Saturday is high risk Saturday now. They are telling us, the PPP, he said, according to their own stats, Saturday is the day them boys is move out more plenty. High risk Saturday, and it's between a certain time to on Saturday. High day is they call it, high risk Saturday. But this is the experience of the average Guyanese. You can't even enjoy your little half pound planting now. You can't even enjoy, your little vehicle, your little money in your pocket. Them boys it's them by things. Them boys coming for the things. You understand where we are as a
Yeah.
country? And I'm certain between the three of us, we got our own experience. But them boys, you see them on a daily basis, circling. As long as you know where to look, what to look for, and you're vigilant, you could pick them up, moving about, thirsty, hungry. You understand me?
So
Things tight, but we can't go
you
about
need to
getting
give
things like that.
you need to give some of those insight to the police because I personally consider that as a ordinary citizen in the country, I would know where you can persons of thinking
Yeah.
together, birds of a feather flock together. You will know where they hang out and all of these things, and the citizens would know, but the police don't seem to know. Cheryl, I don't understand what's going on there. I look at the videos, and I actually made a post online about it because I think it's gotten to a point of ridiculousness now that I see like one of the online news sources actually put out two or three videos to be exact of two guys on a motorcycle robbed person in Kitty, and then, well, two different, and then the attempted robbery right in Kitty, and then they went over to Albertong, and they robbed two doctors there, right? And I'm there, and it is unbelievable. It's crazy for me to accept that these two guys, and one of them, the one with the pensioner, wasn't in broad daylight. You know, this is the boldness of it. It's broad daylight. They don't care. They're just running through the streets as though we're living close to the border or something like that. One of those buildings. This is a syndicate, so moving through, like they just come to collect what is theirs, you know. And that's craziness of what it is. How are we here? Like how we got here. Personally,
Yep.
to say,
Yep.
let's think how we got to this point that you can walk out to your gate, in and out to your gate, without being afraid of somebody
Yep.
coming to stick you up at your own damn gate.
Yep. You
That's
know,
what we're looking at right about now.
the PPP are synonymous with corruption, drug pushing, and a whole bunch of things. And I don't know, y'all take some big people for granted and think y'all gonna puncture some big people. I don't know if Jarita and Randy, old enough to remember. I know they're young people, I know they're old enough to remember certain things. But quite a number of years back, the owner then, I don't know if it has changed, of Channel 13, Mrs. Rambaran, was going somewhere around La Penitence Market area. And some people, it was only PPP too. The man made a mistake of opening her back door for the vehicle and jumping in. He was trying to rob her. The woman pumped a shot in him. Lighty up. I don't know if you're all old enough to remember that. But he said it's a big woman and he can take advantage. He pulled the car door and he jumped in the back seat. Mrs. Rambaran lit him up
Yep.
with a bullet. You understand me?
You know. Mhm.
Go ahead,
You know,
Randy.
we as a society, we'll just can stick in before Michael. We as a society, I think, we got to what everybody, we had we had have this political divide, to put it mildly, in our country, and it has gotten so bad that everybody tries to mind their own business, and that's why these criminals roam the street as though the streets belongs to them, right? And when it comes to the police force, I personally believe that there's a lack of morale at the level of police force right now. Those boys just sit down and they say whatever happened, happened. Nobody going out and play no hero. They know that the when it comes to the promotion things and so those things are not respected. So what they're going out and doing this extra job for to protect and store 7% increase and all of those things. Those boys just say, whatever happened, happened. Whoever come to the station, sit down and take the report. And that's the way in which we see things going. Persons don't even want to go to the station and report these crimes because they believe it's a waste of their
Yep.
time.
Yep.
Sharon, you would know when we were in office, the policing groups were very much active, well managed, efficiently, effectively.
Yep.
And we did not have to deal with all these things. How is it? How do you tell the citizens of this country it's not bad management? And on the coalition, these things were not going on like that. You had few cases once, and far enough, people just riding through the street in the broad daylight, robbing,
Wantonly.
picking you up like one point, and you're gonna say what is a lack of leadership, and that you have to call it out for what it is. Nobody could go and defend this on any other
Well,
front. But when I
well,
see those
in his defense,
court,
Churita, you said nobody can defend this. In Robeson Horatio Brinsley Ben's defense, in his defense, folks, y'all want to write this down because when I come in to defend Robeson, you must know where there's a country. In Robeson's defense, yesterday was his birthday. See, probably was a little distracted when all these robberies taking place. Yesterday was his birthday. See, he had big gift given in the office and all kinds of things. People were so away in Robeson yesterday. He was distracted. It was his birthday. You understand me? That's what happened. They're distracted,
Sharon,
Randy.
Sharon, when I was in college, I can't remember the poem, but there was a line in the poem that says, it basically, I'll give you the essence of it. If we don't take care of educate and take care of our children, their guns will get us.
Mm-hmm.
Their guns will get us. And I think Guyana is suffering. We're slowly stepping into that place where our negligence and our inability to take care of the people who are in need is coming back to bite us. And I mean, we don't need to go far, Cheryl, to figure out. And again, I believe that this will increase. I believe that we will see more crime simply because of the policies of this administration. And I think they're falling into the trap that countries like Trinidad fell into. There is a simple correlation between rising inequality. See, you will always see rising crime. It's not rocket science. These are things that are proven. If you continue to depress a certain section of society and leave them out of the gains, they will take it. And I believe that the policies of this administration will continue to see to let us see this nasty headed crime rising, because they don't have any plan for it, first of all. And their policies are going to encourage persons to take because you are not taking care of the people. It's not rocket science, and it's sad to see it. But just look at Trinidad. Look at the crime rate in Trinidad.
Yep.
And look at when it spiked. Look at when it spiked. And you have the rich controlling all the means of industry and controlling all the businesses and controlling all the finances that flow in the country. There'll be a certain section of society that believes that their only way out is to go and take it. Because you're not helping them. You have taken up a position of, you know what? The businesses will take care of the economy. No. Businesses are inherently selfish. Businesses are in the business of making money. They're not in the business of social welfare. So don't expect the businesses to suddenly take care of your economy and you're poor. You have to do that as a government. And if you don't do that, and of course with the they tout, and you know what is strange, Jared? These are the same people who said for 5 years how the AP and UFC don't know anything about economics, apparently. Right? They are the bastions of economic knowledge. They are the gurus. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They know all. These are Jack Dio and Ashney and Brassington and these people. They have all the wealth of economic knowledge. Yes, Juriti, you didn't know that?
I missed that. Sorry.
Yeah, but that's the thing. And these are the people who are, for one, I wanted to use a stronger word, are messing up the economy right now because they are focused on the wrong things,
Randy,
we are going to see more crime. Sad as it is.
Randy, this show is called Below the Belt. You can use a stronger word, my brother. It's called Below the Belt. Go ahead.
It's a sad situation.
Very
It's a
much
sad
so.
situation.
Very much so, and you can't come by a gap, you can't come by a gate without wondering, people to see where them boys there. It is sad, the trauma those things put you through.
Walk around. I can imagine the people walking around right about now. For example, you're coming out the gate, you gotta look left, look right, then run up the road. Because I don't understand how persons are supposed to live in peace and lack of fear when you have persons just riding around as though Kitty is their block and they just come to clean up the block whenever they're ready. And last I checked, I think there's a police station there's a police station right in Kitty. So you can't tell me that the police don't know who these persons are at this point. And it begs the question if someone is protecting them altogether. I mean, better must be done. The citizens of this country deserve the peace of mind to walk in and out of their gate. They're not venturing out in the wee hours of the night or on Saturday, as Irfan said, high risk day. So we are simply saying that they deserve the freedom to walk in and out of their gate without fear of being stick up with a gun or a knife. It is ridiculous. Can't continue to just accept it. I know Randy made a point just when he was saying that these businessmen they're about making money, and the government is there taking it. But the government of the day is concerned with making money, Randy. So it's not as though
Money
there's
government.
no difference between the business. how they're operating. There's no difference between the business community's motives and the government motive. They're all there to try to see how much money they could pull their own pocket with, and that is just a sad reality of what's going on right now. We're not going to try to nice it up, sugarcoat nothing. This is below the belt. We can just say it as it is, call a spade in Sherrod.
That's right.
Um, People
Talk the
are
things.
opening their eyes. I am so proud of the Guyanese people right about now. And I'm not saying half of the Guyanese population or a section of the Guyanese. I am saying I am proud of the Guyanese people. All of them. You know why? Because they are getting the information, they are rationalizing. Some of them too shame to come and say, well, y'all is right. But it's all right. They don't have to say it, but they understand
Yep.
very
Yep.
clearly that the PVP is not doing anything that is going to benefit them once they are not at a certain level in
Hmm.
society. And it's a selected few. It's a selected few. We cannot accept it. We have a situation right now. If persons want to be very if persons want a visual, me to paint a visual in their head as to what is going on. We have the government talking about infrastructural development, and you know how the PP does infrastructural development. I don't have to tell you, Sherry, you're very much familiar with the way in which they do it. But for the money that they will be taking out, money that they will be spending from the oil resources, persons need to understand what this money could be used to do. This forced withdrawal that they want to make of all the money that is there right now, because they passed a bill giving them the power to withdraw all. If they are to utilize money, you could pay. I can tell you can pay the UG tuition for over 500,000 students. I want person to understand what this money could do. But
Hmm.
they're gonna come and they're gonna say, oh, you know what? I think the president was quoted somewhere in saying a portion of the money will go to aiding with welfare matters. A portion of the money. The rest of the yeah, don't worry the rest. But the portion we have, we can put a portion to them. It can do so many other things. These low income houses, these very little houses that they're building. I think I believe Central House and Planning had put out a video quite recently. I believe it's a one bedroom house if I'm not mistaken. Sarah, I think like cost between $3 to $4 million if I'm not mistaken. Well, those houses they can build approximately 150,000 of those. This is the money that they're taking, but guess what? They're not going to do any of that. Anything that have direct transfer from the coffers to the people will not be done. They're not going to be doing any of that because all they're going to be doing, they're going to be saying, "Oh, well, we're going to build this hotel, and you're going to have a trickle down benefit of it, and we're going to build this, and we're going to have a trickle down benefit of it, and we're going to bring in persons from out of the country, benefit put together all together. What the government is nobody's going to get it because there is no merit in the trickle down policy, trickle down economic policy that they have been using. They know that there's no merit. So basically, what they're saying is that we're going to give it to the rich and wealthy. We're going to give the money to the businessmen, and then y'all could just try with that. We don't care. At the end of it, we're going to come close to the election. We can have y'all line up in long lines, and we can give y'all a little check and y'all can go and vote for we because this we always do. And people are getting smarter. So I do not believe that method is going to be working come the next election. I believe the people will be getting a very rude awakening once again at the next election, and persons are going to say, "Well, enough is enough." That is the faith I have in the Guyanese people.
Yep, 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 yep. That's where we are. And folks, listen, we ain't talked about COVID yet. I know we're watching program time. We will just touch on it very briefly. But oh God, folks, if you're in debt from here from the planting prices, if you're in debt from crime, it's
Mm-hmm.
COVID. It's COVID. COVID in the backside. 800 and something cases yesterday. Again, the previous day was a similar number. Them boys want to make money. They open up back like, the status quo must remain there in power. They want no country lock up. Jack just said it. He said it. He said, people got for dead. That's what the man said. He said, people got to die. You can't want things two way. That's what he said. People have to die, but the country got to open up. And now we're seeing the effects of that. COVID in we tail. COVID in we. We looking thin out there, people. We looking real thin. We looking thin.
I think
That's all.
I saw a guy put online on social media. He did a video and he's like that's the whole of Guyana right now because apparently once you go and take a test, anybody that's not feeling well and go to take a test at the hospital is being tested positive. I don't know of anybody who wasn't feeling well and took the test and got back a negative result. So it would appear that the COVID is so the new variant is so widespread that it basically has affected every single home, and that is a position we did put a no confidence motion in against the Minister of Health. Of course, the speaker in his deliberation, however he does that, says that can't be put on the table, and but this is the reason why we put the no confidence in him. It is very clear that he has not been managing the COVID situation in Guyana efficiently at any point in time from the inception. We have COVID skyrocketing, the numbers are out of control. And then we have the very administration that is supposed to be doing everything in their power to minimize those numbers are saying, oh, we can't close school now. Everybody got to be out and about. Oh, we're going to have the curfews from 12 midnight to 4 a.m. Basically, they're giving people a 4 hour to sleep and continue the business as usual. And they see absolutely nothing wrong with the way in which they are operating, the way in which they are doing things. Because it seems to me like they are, well, not seems to me, it is very evident that they are willing to risk the lives of the Guyanese people to make sure that they continue on their pathway to whatever it is that they're going to. They're like they adopt the principles of by any means necessary, right? The means justify the end. That is how they're
Madness.
operating right
Yep.
now.
Yep. Yeah.
Right?
You know, Sharon, if I could jump in here,
Go right ahead.
we look at what is happening in schools. We look at the amount of schools, teachers who are homesick, students who are homesick, and it is no surprise. You know, we have basically the government has decided that they will entertain what we call super spreader events every day at thousands of locations. And this is exactly what's happening. So we have all of these school children coming and mixing with everybody, is going back to the parents, some who may have COVID, some who may have, underlying conditions, and then they come back the next day. And I believe it's that this government has taken a position, look, we're going to, this school reopening is going to speed up this herd immunity thing, because I don't see any.
But they want us,
schools in the heart of a spike, of a surge,
Apologies there.
of a highly transmissible strain. It make sense. It make sense.
Yep, and I want to play for you guys what the vice president had said. I want to play that for you guys. The installed fraudulent vice president. I want to play what he had said. People will die, right? So bear this for a second, folks. Thanks for joining the podcast. Share the live stream, folks. Share. This what the man said. This what the man said. Right? Listen to him. Listen to Papa Chakabat.
but they want us, they're making this, we shut down the country. That's what APNU said, and less people are dying. But can you do that forever? You're gonna have more infection. So every day when I see a couple of people die or so, it's hurtful that our people have to die, but this is the reality.
The PPPC, heartless, empty leadership. They don't care.
Save Guyana is responsible.
Yep. People will die. People will die. We live with the facts here, That's what the man said. Randy Twitter, the closing moments of program. People will die. Papa Jagabat in your skin. People will die. That's what the fella said, like it's nothing.
Yeah. Yes, Sharon. Yes, sorry about that.
People will die.
Yeah, I mean,
Money got from
that's the callous nature of the government. That is the callous nature of the government, and it is. and I see the policies as just that. Listen, the place gotta open up. Some people will die, but we need to move this country forward like that. And they don't care. They do not care. Chair, even as we talk about COVID, and I know we're coming out the program time, but I wanted to read something that Gordon posted just now. He said that all jokes on the side, the continuing increases in basic food items is no joke. While many of us may be in a position to get around the prices increasing as easily, right? There are many families out there who are finding it extremely difficult, and that is the fact.
Yeah.
He asks his people to, I want you to list some of the basic items below that we have seen dramatic increase in the prices in the past few weeks. I think some folks do not really understand what is going on. And he is correct. Many of us who are able to find a little money to pay the little cushion, the little thing, there are people who would before now would have been in the red.
Somebody,
and now they're going to the supermarket and can't find an extra $200, $400.
a lot of people don't got nobody in the States or nowhere sending the little prick for them, the little remittances. Madness indeed. Madness indeed. Folks, it's been my privilege having my two guests. We're just over program time, and I know you guys want to run off and do other things. You got other places to go, other shows perhaps, even to lend your viewing ear and eye to. We really want to thank you guys for spending this time with us. Anything finally before you go, Randy and Jurita? Any final thoughts?
I would just encourage. I mean, I've been on this bandwagon for the last few weeks, but I believe that change is with the people. Change is with the people, and unless our people take it in hand and become participatory, participate in your politics, whether it's local or national, your voice matters, your actions matter. So we can't sit down. We can't sit down, especially when we have an oppressive regime lording over us. We cannot sit down and just take it. So that's my call to the people, Sharon. In this time when we're looking at we're being bombarded from all fronts. Yeah. Prices, COVID, even the country money, everything. We have to, as a people, sound our voices. And I'm really happy that you are on the front lines, bringing the information to the people.
And you're on the front line as well.
I continue to do that. Right, I'll continue to lend my voice to that, and I call on all Guyanese to make noise. Make noise, don't just sit down.
Fantastic. Jurita, final thoughts.
Jurita's connection issue.
All right, that being said, I want to thank both Jurita Finance, the Member of Parliament, Shadow Minister for Finance, and our colleague, the Honorable Randolph Critchlow, Councillor of the out of the Regional Democratic Council Region 4, and also host of the popular afternoon program, The Rush. I want to thank both of them for their presence in our program today. It made the difference. Randy and Jurita, thank you guys. Thank you so much for being below the belt today. Who vex, lose. Who vex. No apologies. Thanks, Randy. Thanks, Jurita.
All right.
Fantastic. Folks, that being said, just before I let you go, we have to share our quotation for the day. We have to share our daily quotation with you guys. And I have a beautiful one here. Again, guys, I hope you guys are reading something nice for this new year. Start the year out nice and continue to elevate, educate, edify yourself, and expand your knowledge. Picked up a beautiful text out of the Austin's bookstore. It's called 1,001 Quotation to Inspire You Before You Die. 1,001 quotation to inspire you before the plantain prices get you the COVID or the crime in Guyana. And this one is taken from a Chinese philosopher, a Chinese thinker and influential historian called Sima Qian. And he lived a long time ago, 109 BCE. And the quote is, "Though bitter, good medicine cures illness. Though bitter, good medicine cures illness. Though it may hurt, loyal criticism will have beneficial effects. Though bitter, good medicine cures illness. Though it may hurt, loyal criticism will have beneficial effects." And I want to give you some background out of this fantastic book that I'm going through. It says, "Records of the Grand Historian," where this quote is taken from, also known as Shaiji. is a monumental work of historiography completed by Sima Qian following the death of his father, who had begun the work earlier. As a record of Chinese civilization over the previous 2,500 years, the task would have taken about 2 decades to complete. But a few years after he had begun, Sima offended the Han Emperor Wu by defending the character of a general who had defected to the enemy after suffering thousands of casualties when heavily outnumbered. Sima was castrated and imprisoned for 3 years. He was a political prisoner. After his punishment, however, Sima returned to work, and in keeping with the Confucian precept of avoiding confrontation with the authorities, he instead made veiled criticisms of certain figures in his biographical accounts. Thus, the above quotation aims to justify any unpalatable criticism perceived in his writing. The above quotation aims to justify any unpalatable criticism that it was perceived in his writings. The remark is also relevant to loyalty. The remark is also relevant to loyalty in any important relationship. For example, rather than being an act of disloyalty, whistleblowing is often motivated by loyalty to an organization's social responsibility. Whistleblowing is often motivated by loyalty to an organization's social responsibility. Finally, he says here, clearly a higher authority than one's own direct line manager. So the quotation again as we go is, though bitter, good medicine cures illness. Though it may hurt, loyal criticism will have beneficial effects. Taken from the records of the grand historian Sima Qian, Chinese philosopher, thinker, and writer. That being said, folks, hundreds of you are still on the live stream. Why don't you share our live program before you go so that persons can benefit from the content just like you have? And we want to see those emojis as well. Hundreds of you still listening in. And we're so privileged to have each and every one of you. Andrea King, we see you. Andrew Cuthbert, we see you as well. Shamar Williams. Good to see each and every one of you, folks. Thanks for joining our broadcast. We're right back here tomorrow, Sunday. We right here. We out here tomorrow, folks. We out here live on the podcast Below the Belt. We see you at 12 tomorrow. Share the live stream before you go. And folks, we've said it. We cannot do these programs without you. We can't. We just can't. And that is why we ask you guys to come on board and to partner with us. Come on board and partner with us, guys, so that we can do these programs in an expanded way. More programs like this, guys. We can do more programs like this, and we can do them even better, more professional because of your contributions. Do that for us. Wherever you're joining us from today, we're available via the Cash App. It is the $ in the ring 592. Apologies there. We're available via the Cash App. It's the $ in the ring 592. And we're available via PayPal. It's in the ring 592 at gmail.com. In the ring 592 at gmail.com. We have an MMG too. That's the local Cash App, the GT&T Cash App, the MMG Cash App. Our number there is 627-6963, 627-6963. And you have any concerns, you need any guidance, you got an information tip, a news tip, you got an entertainment tip, you got some video, you got some photographs you want to share with us, that's the number you want to WhatsApp us on. WhatsApp us on that number as well, 627-6963, and that's the number for our MMG as well. And guys, we are available via MoneyGram, we're available via Western Union. You need any guidance again, our WhatsApp number is that very MMG number, 627-6963. Wherever you guys are joining us from, enjoy lunch, and take good care. Those of you who are in the cold, try to stay warm. Those of you who are in the rain, try to keep dry. Wherever you are, guys, have a really fantastic weekend. We're going to see you guys back right here tomorrow. Same time, same place. Thanks for joining Below the Belt. Who vex lose? Who vex vex? That's what we say. Who vex vex? Share the live stream before you go and show us those emojis as well. Stay safe out there, guys. Stay safe. Stay safe, we say.